Liberal women propel candidates like Mamdani and New Jersey's Mikey Sherrill to victory. An overwhelming 84% of them supported Mamdani, and here's what mattered to them most.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zahran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York, starts today, baby.
You know, when I showed my husband that clip, he said, that's got to be fake. That's got to be AI. She's got to be trolling. I said, no, honey, it is real. Joining me again, my political guru is here. Special guest, attorney Gerard Fidlity. Also with us, Alex Zdan, GOP strategist and former US Senate candidate from New Jersey. Also weighing in, back with us, retired NYPD Chief John Schell. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Alex, what is going on with women in your state? How could they be so stupid to vote for this person?
That video, that's your brain on a liberal arts education. Yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Look, at the end of the day, we have to take responsibility as a statewide GOP and as a national GOP. We didn't do a good enough job of messaging affordability, and that's what we need to do. As Republicans, we look to tax cuts and marginal income rates to try and stimulate the economy, and that's the right policy, but people are hurting right now. We're often offering them a Thanksgiving dinner. The Democrats are offering them a candy bar, a quick sugar high. We've got to find a way to respond to people's affordability needs, because people are looking to pay the rent, the child care, the bus fare, right here, right now, today. Not giving them free stuff, but responding to what they say they need.
You know, Gerard, I think when we look at the inflation rate, it's down, and this is down, and everything's good, and Wall Street's doing well. But at the end of the day, perception is reality, and people are struggling to make ends meet. So I think the fact that you had candidates like Cuomo and Chitterelli, that they didn't really tackle it and say, yeah, the rent is too damn high. Groceries are too expensive. We're going to do X, Y, and Z to try to combat it. What do you think?
And we forgot what Trump won on last year, which was the economy, and doing a better job with the economy. That's what Democrats, the message that they delivered this election, and that's what propelled them to victory. And Mamdani, you see the voters, they're the undereducated voters. They're the ones who listen to the sound bites. But that also speaks to the need for Republicans to run better candidates.
The overeducated voters with so many degrees they have nothing to do with and know nothing to do with.
Yeah, but so too much education
affordability
doesn't do them good.
Affordability now in this election cycle, and now the government shut down on top of that. It's just not a good mix right now, and people are just mad.
Right, they're angry.
They're frustrated because at the end of the day, at the table, they still got to pay the bill. They got to pay for the turkey dinner. Yeah. They got to pay for this, their taxes. So there's just a level of frustration. As a middle class person myself, my taxes, and I'm one of them. You just wanted to come down a little bit. But we're heading in the right direction, but we just wanted to come down a little lower.
Yeah, the people want that quick fix. So what do you guys think about that woman that she's like, Sharia law now, Islamic Caliphate, let's start it now? I mean,
Lord forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Well, you know, I think we said the philosophy, art history major she got that she thought she was getting paid $250,000 for. It doesn't exist. So let's see her on video next year when things are going down the tubes around here, to see what kind of video she wants to play, because the free stuff's not going to be there.
Gerard, as a Middle East expert yourself, what do you think of how ignorant is that comment?
It's insane. I looked at last week, there was a Jordanian influencer who withdrew his congratulations to Mamdani because Mamdani supports LGBTQ rights. And at the same time, you have these college kids, you know, Queers for Palestine, who are out there voting for Mamdani. This shows you that they don't understand what radical Islam is. They don't understand what socialism is. They're just going with the flash messaging without realizing how dangerous these ideas are for New York City or for any democracy.
You know, and then you've got a lot of our Democratic leaders that they've been demonizing President Trump, calling. I just saw a clip before where Gavin Newsom called the ICE agents the secret police. They're calling them the Gestapo. They're calling Trump Hitler. And then Nancy Pelosi, here's her recent comments about President Trump.
Just a vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth.
He is the president of the United States, and regardless of who the president is, you don't call this. I mean, that's the issue right there. A woman of that stature is calling our president a vile creature. He's our president.
You know, we just had a conversation about liberal white women. At least Pelosi is an honest liberal white woman when it comes to how she actually feels. That's what they think of us, John. That's what they actually think of us. We are subhuman to them, and we have to know that and fight back against that.
She made $130 million. Nobody has that good of stock picking odds. It's impossible.
No money can heal a human soul.
If you're sitting in your house this morning watching the Sunday shows as just a regular Joe Schmo, and you hear someone calling the president a vile creature, you turn the channel. Like, what are we doing here?
That speaks to the indoctrination as well, because what she says resonates with kids. That's what they learn. So when we see increased political rhetoric that's so degenerate, you have the violence. You see what happens when these kids grow up. They have the riots and the protests on the streets because they believe this rhetoric. There's no more dialogue. There's just attack.
Let's talk policy and issues. Stop with the name calling. Stop with the identity nonsense. Let's talk policy and have a healthy debate.
They don't have politics. They don't have policy. They don't have anything to offer. That's why they go down this road.
They go down TikTok.
Yeah.
Take the TikTok road.
The TikTok, the sound bites. How effective is that mic drop, that sound bite? Because I think that's what AOC goes for. That's what Jasmine Crockett goes for. I've said this. I think she's high on her eyelash glue because, like, I look at her with the eyelashes and the stuff coming out of her mouth, and I'm just like, how could anybody take this woman seriously?
Well, and we do it too on social media. Come on, we all like a good mic drop.
Yep.
The problem with that is that that's become the discourse now. Solutions need to be the way forward, just like you said, because this is only going to get worse when AI gets into the mix, and it's just going to be fake things versus fake things. We need to give people things that are real. We need to give people things that are authentic. We need to tell people who we really are and how we're going to affect their lives for the better.
And I think we need to articulate actual solutions, especially when it comes to the affordability crisis. What do you think, George?
100%. You need to identify the steps you're going to take, and they need to be realistic. Just offering people free things, that's great for a vote, but you can't actually govern that way. So you need to identify the plan. You need to identify the proposals. We had this decades ago. Now it's just about sound bites.
All right, guys, thank you so much. All right. Keep it right there. Coming up, whether it's blaming Trump for absolutely everything under the sun or showing glee when a criminal gets off, you can always depend on the left to deliver some media madness. Don't go. Welcome back to Sunday Agenda. I'm Lidia Curanaj. Accept no substitutes. It's time for the one, the only helping of media madness you'll ever get on the weekends. Here to break it all down with us are the co-founder of Agency Social, Kathy Talk, along with the host of the Quisha King Show, Quisha King herself. Also our special guest in studio with us, Alex Zdan, Gerard Filitti, and John Shell. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Well, this news just coming in, a bombshell report, also breaking news from the Telegraph this week, has led to the resignations of the BBC's Director General and the head of the BBC News. It stems from a documentary that aired on the BBC's investigative series Panorama, using doctored footage of Trump's speech on January 6th. It made it look like Trump was calling for violence. The Telegraph then featured the side-by-side video in the reporting, and you can see quite the difference. Take a look.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Quite the difference. Kathy, your thoughts there? I mean, look at that. The resignations come as the BBC is expected to apologize. This according to a spokesperson. So this just coming into our newsroom. Clearly, editing makes a difference, Kathy.
Absolutely, and this is what they do on social media as well, and we need to be fighting back with the truth. Everybody has a camera. Everybody takes video footage of every single thing. Why do they get to dictate what we see, what we hear, and the way we hear it? I'm on social media all the time dispelling this information, and I can't tell you how many strikes I've had against my own accounts because the powers that be deem it misinformation. We need to check into who are those people that are weighing what information gets out. That's how you combat things like this, because this shaped 4 years. People were incarcerated for 4 years, and now, we're sorry. We edited it wrong.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It's unacceptable.
This also comes as the BBC is poised to apologize for its climate change reporting. So it looks like there's a day of reckoning coming at the BBC. Who knew that socialized central media was a bad thing? Who could have seen that one coming?
What do you think? I mean,
Gaza as well. I mean, they're being held accountable for a lot of lies on a lot of issues. Hopefully, we'll see that with the New York Times, CNN, and other outlets.
Expand on that, because they've been the leading source of the genocide claims, and that all these Palestinian children are being murdered by Israel. So expand on that, Gerard.
They are, and that's the problem. This is why we have these protests in the streets, because people are getting misinformation from notable outlets like the BBC, like the New York Times, and they're going about it thinking that what they're hearing is correct. correct, and it's not. They're lies, like we see with the editing of the Trump speech, like we see with climate issues. These newspapers, these news outlets are not giving people the full truth.
And your thoughts? I mean, look at how deceptive that editing was.
Doctored video in the news media? I've never seen this before. Have you? 60 Minutes? I've seen this show before. This is terrible. They should be held accountable. It's so unfair. It's so tilted just to sway the average person what they see, and this is, and AI is coming now. This is, you know, we got to get better at this.
Hey, John, maybe it's time for the mainstream media to wear body cams to document what they do, document their work.
And Keisha, I know you want to weigh in on this too. I mean, I mean, yes, in media we can't put the entire clip, but to so deceptively edit something like that, it's egregious.
It's very egregious. You know, we've been seeing stuff like this since COVID, where they will just deceptively edit anything their way and just try to shape the narrative to tell a false story. And we're sick and tired of it. And now we're getting much better at telling what they're trying to do, so we can come out and call it out like this.
Let's get to this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who appeared on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, where he decided to school the host over the shutdown with George Stephanopoulos' own words. I love it when stuff like this happens. Watch.
The president continues to post about ending the filibuster. Is that the best way to end the shutdown right now? Is that what the administration's position is?
No, George, the best way to do it. And look, you were involved in a lot of these in the 90s, and you basically called the Republicans terrorists, and you said that it is not the responsible party that keeps the government closed. And so what we need is 5 brave, moderate Democratic senators to cross the aisle, because right now it is 52 to 3. 52 to 3. 5 Democrats can cross the aisle and reopen the government. That's the best way to do it, George.
I can disagree with you about the history there, but we don't need a history lesson right now.
George, let's talk about what's
happening right now.
If you want, I've got all your quotes here. I've got all your quotes here, George.
I'm sure you do.
But
let's talk about the situation right now.
Read your book. So you got one purchase on Amazon this week, and that's very much what you said.
Ooh, Christmas came early this year.
I think if my English language serves me right, that's hypocrisy. And it's so nice when someone informed gives it right back to the nonsense they're getting.
And Gerard, I mean, we were all smiling and laughing because George is so smug.
Look, let's get back to the basics. The election is over. The Democrats need to reopen the government. This is Chuck Schumer's shutdown. People are not being able to feed their kids. SNAP benefits are being rolled back after the Supreme Court weighed in. It's the Democrats who are prioritizing illegal immigrants over allowing hungry children to eat. So let's go back to the Democrats and tell them reopen the government.
I would absolutely love to see if George Stephanopoulos still has the talking points he wrote for Bill Clinton about how shutdowns were bad. Maybe he can give them to Chuck Schumer and see if that works. I know they know each other very well.
I'm going to leave the ladies with the last word. Kathy?
I think it's awesome that Bessent came with receipts. He's like, you want me to tell you what you said about this situation? And he didn't allow him to run over to the next conversation, because that's their tactic. And I love it. We need more of it.
And Keisha?
You know, it's so nice to see when the Democrats have to deal with their own words, because for so many years, so many decades, the left has had control of the mainstream media, and they do not know how to handle Republicans that are not afraid of a camera and not afraid to say, oh, this is exactly what you said, and you're not just going to run past it.
Ladies, next time you're in New York City, come on by the studio. We'd love to see you guys in person. Enjoy. Would you guys object to have those two beautiful ladies sit in this?
Come out of the box.
We also need Newsmax in the UK.
We do. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fighting jihadism, President Trump threatening to send in the troops to Nigeria to help suffering Christians. Seems like this president is serious about finally stopping Islamic terror everywhere. That story plus a lot more. But first, here's a live look at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, known for its rich industrial and steel producing history. That view courtesy of our friends at EarthCam.